All right, boom shakalaka. What's up, guys? So, as you can see, this is not where I usually stream from or record my videos from. This is kind of a spooky Halloween version of my show, which is what I watched last week, episode 3. And, boy, let me tell you, it's a crazy setup to get all this garbage in here. Garbage being my expensive equipment that I paid good money for. And I'm not in my soundproof room, so you'll hear probably echoes. Sorry about that. But this mic will be okay. And you know, on you guys on the stream, if you see this on Twitch, go to the YouTube version. If you're, you know, and rewatch it. Watch the stream and then watch it on YouTube because it'll be way better quality on YouTube. And you won't hear so much echo probably because the audio is probably dog shit on the stream. But still, I like the live I like to do it live, and it's on my phone, so my phone mic is probably garbage. But it is what it is. So, anyways, I guess let's chat about some movies. I saw some movies last week, and actually today even. So I finished watching The Shining today. I guess we'll start off there. So if you're new here, all I'm going to do is just talk about these movies, kind of review them, but more of a discussion of what I want to do, or whatever I want to do, you know. So, and these are going to be spoilers. Spoilers for everything, for all these movies. But I guess before I actually spoil it, I will give it like a rating for it. I will say The Shining gets probably a 7.5 for me. Which is really good, but I'll explain. So that's my rating, 7.5. It's really good. You should watch it if you haven't seen it. So I'll do that for each one before I start it. So I recommend it. Check it out. So The Shining, it's very interesting movie. I've never seen it before. It's heralded. That's a word, right? Heralded as this great masterpiece of horror and cinematography and filmmaking, and it is. It's really good. I really enjoyed it. The sweeping shots, all the camera movements, really great. I mean, iconic shots, you know, with the rolling down in his little big wheel, rolling down the hallways, and, you know, the little girls. It's been parodied to death, you know, so. And what's good about it, to me, is that even though it was parodied to shit by everything in the world, the visuals, they still are effective, and they're still really neat and cool. And I mean, I wouldn't say that this movie for me isn't just, you know, so horrifying or scary. To me, I mean, it's kind of like a drama now, like a modern, what we would consider a modern drama type situation. Shocking imagery, yes. You know, unsettling for sure. The scariest part to me is the relationship that Jack and the wife have going on. There's a part where it's really building up. She's confronting him. She brings the bat to the little that open area where he's doing all his work, and she finds all the pages with, you know, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, and that's literally all that he's wrote. And he comes and says, "Do you like it?" And it's really unnerving and very powerful performances. Shelley Duvall, I think, is her name, that plays Wendy, and man, she crushes this role. All the acting is really great in this. There's not that many characters, you know, after a certain point. At the beginning, we have a couple, but then it's really just them, and they carry the whole movie. The little kid, me and Megan were watching this. My girlfriend, she didn't like the kid very much, but she read the book. And, of course, I've seen clips of this movie, so I know what the kid looked like. I knew things he would say, "Red rum," you know, he did the finger, "Hey, this is Tony talking," or whatever. And it's pretty good. Honestly, a good performance by a young kid. Like his face, his shocked face, and him him fucking drooling with that little spit on his lip. It's pretty crazy what they got out of this little child. You know, what they got him to do. Also, my dogs are here, so if you hear them walking around or scratching or whatever, then maybe they'll show up. Who knows? I'm looking at one of them right here on the couch in front of me. But, sorry, I get off track. I get so much ADHD going everywhere. But that scene, they're arguing, and he's talking about, like, she's swinging at him, don't come near me, going up the stairs. And that's when Jack Nicholson really lets it go. He just goes balls out, and he lays it all out there. And it's very, like, Jim Carrey-esque. And I think I've heard someone say that before. Like Jim Carrey would be perfect. Like, maybe he's a little too old now to do that role. But, like, if you made a remake of The Shining and you just, like, because there's a fine line of being, like, funny and also being, like, just out of your mind, And Jim Carrey kind of pushes that to the funny side more than the, I'm crazy, unnerving side. But Jack Nicholson, to me, a lot of the stuff he was saying is kind of funny, but it's also scary. It's, like, unnerving. His performance is it's so interesting. And I could watch him do that all day. Like, I could watch him act like that, do that character all day. It's so entertaining. It's so great. And she's doing great. She's just crying, and she really feels like it's really, really well done. It feels real. Like, she feels like she's really scared for her life. And Jack Nicholson kind of feels like he's goofing around a little bit, but at the same time, you believe that he really is, like, lost his mind somehow. This whole Overlook Hotel, and there's a lot of mythology, like, around The Shining. And one of my favorite scenes of the movie is Scatman Carruthers talking to Danny at the table about, what the shine is and how they're connected in a certain way. And I was like, wow, this really has mythology that I didn't think about. Like, I knew about The Shining, like I knew it was some kind of power, but only because I'd watched someone talk about Dr. Sleep. Red Letter Media. I watched them talk about it. And then I heard them talk about that, and I was like, oh, The Shining that's actually some kind of power. And to hear them talk about it, it's a really good scene, and he's really great. Scatman Carruthers, really great. And he's, like, my favorite part of the movie. There's this funny part where he says he's trying to get the police to let him use the snow machine thing to go back up there. And he's like, well, the people that we had watching that turned out to be total assholes or something like that. And I was just dying. This is the way he says it. Uncontrollable assholes or something. There's one certain specific adjective that he used, but the delivery of assholes was great. And then immediately he walks in and he gets a fucking axe in the chest. And sorry, guy, didn't see that one coming, did you? Shining didn't help you there, buddy. But then what else do I have to say? Okay, like, the mythology is super interesting. There's so many videos that I want to dive into and look and learn some more, like, little secrets or, like, little hints of things, like certain little Easter eggs, I guess you could say, or whatever, things that can deepen my appreciation for the film. And there's a lot of that stuff. And that's almost more interesting to me than the actual movie itself. The movie is really good, but there's a lot of, like, it's pretty long. The music is really great. I enjoy the music. It's just, like, this crazy loud noises, and it just builds at certain points, and it's really unnerving. I've said that a bunch of times, but that's really the best way I can describe this film. It's not, like, scary to me. It's not, like, horrific or whatever. It's just really unnerving, and it works really well in that sense. I'm scared for Danny and her life, and you really feel that. And they're, like, Jack and Wendy's relationship is the most interesting part, because they have such a dynamic. He's such an asshole, and he's a horrible, horrible asshole, but at the same time, Jack Nicholson's performance of him is just, you can't take your eyes off of him. You want more. You want him going crazy more. It's great. I could watch Jack Nicholson do that role like all day, literally. Just give him more crazy shit to say, and I would watch it and eat it up. Um, Dang it, I lost my train of thought a bit of where I was going. I talked about the music a little bit. It kind of crescendos, and it really helps. It really helps those parts where you need to feel something, or it's telling you like this. It's getting you hyped up for like in anticipation of something. And there's a lot of other times where it's just so quiet. There's nothing going on. And then when he's riding his big wheel, it's hard to say, big wheel around, you hear the tires going, and it's really cool. So I think what I was going to say, the only kind of negative thing I didn't like was they're in this huge hotel, and there's a lot of good landscape shots, like helicopter type shots in the beginning of the movie, showing you they're going up this mountain and all that. But the shots of the hotel are amazing. All of the like long takes, and they're going behind pillars, and there's just so much open space that helps with the isolation feel. Like, man, these rooms are really big. But we only see a couple of rooms. I mean, they're big rooms. There's the gold room, or the golden party room, or whatever. There's their room. Then there's that big room that he was working in. They have the kitchen. But that's kind of it, And maybe it's not as big of a hotel as I thought, but I got the sense that this was a huge place. But you only see about 4 or 5 places in the hotel. And seeing a little bit more of the hotel, or some different rooms, or some different kind of places in the hotel would have been cool. I know you could probably argue that, well, there's not that many other places in like a hotel, but I used to work at a casino with a big hotel, and I know that there's a lot of places and a lot of things going on at hotels, and lots of different places to see and look at and whatever. So would have been cool to see something kind of like that. More places, more variety. But yeah, I think it's really good. 7.5. Should I raise that up to like an 8? It's good. It's classic, but it's kind of not really my thing. I don't know if I would. I've seen it now, and I would like to. It's good to cross it off my list, but I don't know if I'll ever watch it again. There's definitely scenes that I'd like to see again. I like to watch more of Jack Nicholson. Probably like rewatch those scenes on YouTube or something where he's just going crazy, But as watching the whole thing again, I don't know. I feel like I've seen it. I I get it. I get what this is now. Because I've seen so many of the scenes. I was like, okay, this is The Shining. What I'm more interested to watch is Dr. Sleep, and you guys watch Dr. Sleep if you want to hear me talk about that next week and you haven't seen it, because I'm going to talk about Dr. Sleep next week, because I'm definitely going to watch it sometime this week. I really want to watch it today, hopefully when Megan gets home. Excuse me. But we'll see. She didn't really finish The Shining the other day because we didn't have time. So, yeah, I did break this up into 2 parts, so I didn't watch it all the way through, which could have hampered my enjoyment. I don't think so, because I remember. I have somewhat good memory, so I could remember some of it, or most of it. I remember. You get what I'm trying to say. So, yeah, that's The Shining. I'm super interested to see Dr. Sleep, because that goes more into the mythology, and like he goes back to the hotel, and like it just seems like this, like to revisit Danny's character, and it's Ewan McGregor. It's fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be cool to see, anyways. From what Red Letter Media talked about, I'm hyped to see it. And I had no urge, I didn't care. I had no care in the world to see it until I watched The Shining, and I'm like, yeah, I want to see more of this. I want to go more into this world. So I watch Dr. Sleep. So I guess we'll move on. I wish I could. Can't even see how much time I'm going. Oh, I have my little timer down there. Okay, cool. So let's talk about the next one, Nightmare Before Christmas. First time I'm watching this one too. I'd never seen A Nightmare Before Christmas before. Now I have. Stop motion animation is fantastic. So before I get into spoilers for that, I will give this one also a 7.5. I'm kind of in the middle of the road on these. Maybe I'll give it a 7. I'm a little harsh, and I'm sorry. I know people love this film, and it is really great, but I think I respect the filmmaking quality, the music, and the stop motion, all the work that everyone put into this, and the look of it. I love that. I like that stuff a whole lot more than the actual story of it all. Because it's not a basic story, but it's not a basic at all, because they're kidnapping Santa Claus, for gosh sakes, and they're wanting to make their own Christmas. Jack wants to be Santa Claus and deliver his type of presents, and he's a skeleton man. So that's not a basic story, but the good part about the story is that Jack is he's been at this Halloween town for so long, and he's feeling like, man, I want to do something new. I want to do something different than what I've been doing for so long. And that's relatable. I can really relate to wanting to do something new, do something different. He's the Pumpkin King, and he's a king, man. Kings get bored, just like rich people. Why do rich people do shit like Squid Game? Because they're bored, So he said, fuck it, I'm gonna be Sandy Claus. Kidnap the Sandy Claus. Tie him in, chop him up in pieces. This is pretty fucked up songs, but if you really like Nightmare Before Christmas, there's a documentary on Netflix that it's called Movies That Made Us or something like that, and they have one over Nightmare Before Christmas, and I watched that. It's only 50 minutes, and they did a lot of behind the scenes, and that stuff is really interesting, and I probably like that. I would like to see, because the Netflix documentary version is kind of weird. It's kind of, I don't want to, for lack of a better word, kiddie. There's this lady voiceover the whole time, and they cut off the people, the interviews, and they mix them together of people saying words. And I wish that we could just really listen to their interview but they have to make it more snappy, because they probably have a lot of interview footage, and they cut it down to 50 minutes. But I would just love to see the actual footage of them interviewing. They interview Danny Elfman. They interview the actual director of the film, because it's not directed by Tim Burton, everybody. It's directed by, and I'm sorry, guy, I don't remember your name. That's the fucking sadness of it, is that this dude directed this film, and there's a lot of people, the producer, all the all the stop motion animation people, they get no credit, but they put a lot of hard work into this. It's very difficult to make a stop motion film. What's really cool is that Danny Elfman wrote all the music first, because they were waiting for the script to get done, and this weird jackoff was trying to write the script, but he was hired to, but he was just fucking getting drunk, and he wasn't even writing anything on it. So they didn't have a script for a long time, and Danny Elfman said, "Fine, fuck it, we'll write some songs, and then you can fill in the story." So they could start working on it, so they could at least have something to work on, and then they could fit the script around the songs, and because it's mostly songs, And what's really cool is that Jack Skellington's voiced by Danny Elfman, his singing voice. What sucks for him is that they gave him the part as Jack as well, but they didn't really like his voice performance as Jack, and they kind of cut him out of that part, and they hired another guy. But you can't even tell, because the singing voice and then the speaking voice, they're very, very similar. So they did a great job with casting a guy who's a legit actor. Danny Elfman, sorry, he's not a legit actor. He's a music guy. He's a composer. But he crushes it as Jack Skellington. The songs are great. Jack's his singing voice is great. There's never another reason for me to watch this whole movie. I'll just watch some of the songs. The songs are the best part, honestly. They're my favorite part of the movie. I love the look of it, of course. Like, Jack is awesome. All of the, like, Tim Burton weird designs are great. But it narrows, just cutting it down, it's just the songs. The songs are what makes it for me. So anytime I want to, like, this is Halloween, what's this, all that, I just watch those. I don't have to watch the whole movie, even though it's pretty short. I got to be honest, it was kind of, even with all of the lush environments to look at and all the cool looking characters, I'm still a little bored at certain times. I was real tired that day I watched it. Peyton was watching it with me, and I was kind of dozing off at some points. Then the songs would come on and be like, hey, all right, here's a song. It's good. So sorry if that really makes you mad, but I can't help it, guys. That's just my opinion, you know. And then what else is there to talk about there? I had one other thing to say about it. What was it? Was it about I was talking about the music. I was talking about Danny Elfman. This is what sucks about live shows and not editing my fucking videos because I'm lazy, is that I lose my train of thought and then I have nothing. I try to find it to say something, but then I can't find it to say what I wanted to say. And then it'll come to me later when I'm talking about something different, and then it'll be like, well, boo. Well, all right. I can't. It's not coming to my brain, so we'll move on. Very good. Entertaining. Watch it. You know, I recommend it. I recommend you watch it. It's fun. It's inventive, and we need more movies like this. And I remember what it was. So what's cool about this movie also is that it wasn't a huge financial success. It made money. It was profitable. But I think like on a $22 million budget, it only made like $50 million or $60 million, and which is good. It's like, okay, success. But when they watched it, like when people at Disney executive watched it, they thought, this is not for kids. No, you know, we can't release this under Disney. So Disney had another wing of their studio, which was Touchstone Pictures. So instead of being released under Disney, you know, this is a Disney film, it was released under Touchstone. It's a Touchstone film. And retroactively now, because I watched it on Disney Plus, now it says Disney's Tim Burton's A Nightmare Before Christmas. And even though Tim Burton really had nothing to do with this movie, besides, I mean, he was a producer, I'm sure. He made the initial designs like 5 or 10 years before the movie was even started to be in production. He made these designs and he had the storyboards. Maybe not the storyboards, but he had a lot of characters and everything like that figured out. So that was all of his work that then these people took and they adapted it. So Tim Burton's, yes, but no, you know, at the same time. So there's that. But now, and then what they were talking about in the documentary was they started seeing, you know, little figurines, T-shirts, certain places of Jack Skellington. Now it's a huge merchandise piece, especially around Halloween time. People go crazy for it, and it's a lot of nostalgia has to play a part in this because, obviously, people saw it when they were young. I never watched it. Obviously, this is my first time watching it. So I didn't grow up with it, and I don't have that nostalgia for it like a lot of people do. So they probably will really hate me for saying that I was bored at some points. But it is what it is, y'all. I can't do nothing about that. Just don't hate me. Just don't leave me mean comments, or do. Just whatever. Comments are comments, you know. Beggars can't be choosers, people. So let's move on. Let's move on to the next film. Let's talk about the Addams Family, and we'll save Shaun of the Dead for last. So, Addams Family, this is the animated version. There's an Addams Family 2 out now that I'm not going to see. So, the Addams Family, this one gets probably a 5.5 for me. It starts off pretty terrible. I didn't like it too much at the start. All the jokes were so obvious, and so I don't want to say bad, but they're just like they're what you would expect. They're just like little puns or like reversals of things that you would think they were gonna say, like, "Oh my gosh, that's hideous. I love it," like stuff like that. Just dumb, stupid, generic, we're weird Addams Family people kind of jokes. And they all look horrible. They look like the animation for them, they're not pleasant to look at. And I know that's all of what A Nightmare Before Christmas is they're all just horrible monsters, But at least there's a craft and a style to that, and because they're horrific nightmare people, it makes it more interesting. But these characters are just weird looking, and it adds nothing, Like, it's not super great animation. It's nothing that, like, stands out as, like, this is art, They just look bad for no reason, really. Uncle Fester is played by Nick Kroll, and they did my boy so dirty. They fucked up Uncle Fester so hard. He's, like, the worst part of this movie. He has, like, one funny thing that actually happens, like, one funny line, and I don't remember what it even was, but... yeah, the Wednesday is the best part of this movie, and I'm so glad that that where they went with her story is the best stuff in the movie. So the first 30 minutes, probably 25 minutes, are pretty bad. They're pretty rough, and I was like, I don't like this. This sucks. But then I think Wednesday starts to become more of a main character of the movie. Like, she has the most kind of things to do. All of the stuff with Pugsley, he has like a sword ceremony that he's trying to learn and master. It's like called Mustafar or something, like the Star Wars planet Mustafar. But Mustafa, it's something like that, something goofy like that. And I don't really care about that. There was nothing fun that really came out of that. Pugsley likes to blow stuff up more than use a sword. Cool. He's being his own person. I guess that's kind of the message of this, is be who you are, be who you want to be. And so Wednesday wants to go to school, to regular school. And she's interested in the outside world because she's been cooped up her whole life in the Addams Family house, and she wants to experience something different and new. So begrudgingly, their mother, Morticia, lets her go to school, and then funny stuff happens there. She does wacky, funny things, and she makes a reference to there's a Zack Snyder film. There's a fucking Watchmen reference in this movie where she says, "I'm not locked up in here with you. You're locked up in here with me." And that's a fucking Rorschach line that is fucking badass. The only cool thing about the Watchmen movie, besides big blue swinging dong, what's his name, Nuclear Man or some shit, Dr. Manhattan. Outside of Dr. Manhattan, that's the only cool thing about Watchmen. And that was kind of a cool, funny scene, or like just a little line that was thrown in there. I was like, that's cool. They're referencing Watchmen. That's kind of cool. And then there's this one character who's like a home improvement television person, and her scene just starts out of nowhere. And then it feels like it goes to a completely different movie. And I'm like, what in the fuck is happening right here? Is this going to be a big part of the movie? And it turns out, it is a big part of the movie. She's the main antagonist, and she comes back at the end as she's like in love with Uncle Fester, which is dumb because she was a fucking animal. She tried to kill our titular Addams family. She tried to murder them and get them out of the town. And a funny message from this movie is that social media bad, and people are stupid and can be influenced by just anything random said on the internet, which I did like, because this home improvement bitch is like tweeting or sending things in group text to people like, did you see what the Addams did? And they're just straight up lies. They're straight up lies. And she gets the whole town behind her to kick them out of town, and they fucking go to their house, and they're launching goddamn boulders with a trebuchet at their house, and all these people are like, yeah, fuck them, and they've literally done nothing to them. And I was like, wow, this is kind of a great innuendo. What is it called? A great parallel symbolism. There's a word I'm thinking of, but I can't think of it because I'm an idiot. But excuse me. But I liked that a lot because it's just like so on point in a way that, you know, at the start of the movie I was like, they're so out of touch with the Addams family and what they kind of do. But this part, this is really like, this is cool and interesting, and I'm down for this, you know, because I'm glad that this was shown in theaters with fucking dumbass parents taking their little snot-nosed 5-year-old kids to watch the Addams Family, and then the Addams Family throws it in their face that you guys are fucking idiots for watching and believing things you see on Facebook. People can be manipulating you, and you shouldn't listen to them because you're attacking the Addams Family for no goddamn reason. And so at the end of the movie, they're like, "We're sorry, we really fucked up. We don't think, you know, we thought you're so weird and different. You know, we thought that we didn't like you, but actually, you're a family and you're people like us." And so that's a good message. So the movie saved itself at the end. Wednesday is fun, and that's about it. I'm not gonna watch number 2. I'm never gonna watch this again. But you know, if you have a family and you like, you have to watch a kids movie, let's say for instance, it's not that awful to sit through. You know, you sit through the first grown worthy 25 minutes, and then it gets to Wednesday, and then the movie gets a little better, and it's fine. But if you can avoid it, and skip it. You know, it's like one of those things where, like, if you're just a single guy, young gal, and you're like, you like watching movies. You know, it's not like a Upside Down, or what's that one, Inside Out, or you know, Up. It's not one of those good movies that you can watch like by yourself, like an animated kids movie. It's not on that level. You know, Finding Nemo, things like that, which are hold up to any age, and they're really good. It's not one of those. So there you go. Get that shit out of here. Addams Family. Watch the old one. The old one's fun. Christina Ricci. She's cool. She plays Wednesday in those. And I don't know who else plays there, but oh yeah, the music though. The music was pretty cool. They played some pop songs, but at the right times, you know, at the right moments. There was some good music. You know, the Addams Family theme in there. It's good stuff. Pardon me for a sec. Check me out. Spooky cup, boy. Woo. It's hot in here a little bit. Like my shirt, it says, I'm here for the booze. And it's a ghost. But it's also like booze, like beer. Get it? Do you get it? I'm going to pick my nose on camera. I don't give a fuck today. No one's watching any goddamn ways. All this goddamn work, setting up all this shit. Somebody better watch this. Somebody better say, Jamin, that was pretty good. You know, it's a pretty good video you did. Somebody better say that. All this hard goddamn work I'm doing. Anyways. Make sure my shit's not gonna die down here. It's going crazy. It's okay. Alright, Shaun of the Dead. This one gets an 8, baby. This is a good ass movie. Of course, Edgar Wright directed it. Part of the Cornetto trilogy, which I just figured out what the fuck that meant. Cornetto is like a type of ice cream treat that's featured in like all 3 of them. And I think it became like some kind of running gag or something to Edgar Wright, and then it's just kind of been coined as the Cornetto trilogy. Shaun of the Dead is it's a satire, almost a spoof kind of, you know, just zombie movies, but in a great British kind of fun way. And all the Edgar Wright camera work is in there. You get all the snaps, and you get some cool shots that reoccur. Like there's one where he walks to the store, and it's like a long take of following him. He trips on the same curb twice in a row, so there's some symmetry there. Really well done, and more emotional than I remember it being. Like him having issues with his dad, and his dad dying, like his stepdad. Yeah, of course he says that a bunch of times. He's your dad, my stepdad. But so they never really had that. They never really connected growing up. Didn't have his real dad around, and his name's like Philip, I think. Philip dies in the car, but he tells Shaun, he says, take care of your mother. I've always loved her. I tried to be a good father to you. I just didn't really know how to reach you and all this. And I was like, oh man, this is really sad. And then he dies, turns into this fucking zombie. So it's great. A lot of great gags, a lot of great TV gags for flipping through the TV, and they're just kind of completing the sentences. They throw on the records at him. Some good goofs. Hits home for me. Shaun in this movie, 29-year-old male like me, working at a retail type store like me. What are you doing with your life, Shaun? Liz breaking up with him because his life's not going nowhere. And he just doesn't know what has. He doesn't treat her well, and they don't do things together. They don't do anything new or fresh, So we're not in, like, me and Megan are fine. We really love each other. We got all that. So that's not a part of the relatability. But like being in like a stagnant place in your life, people's been there. I can feel that. I relate to that. And so it's good to see this kind of a story going on in the background of a zombie apocalypse. And it's good that they're the really slow zombies, so you can kind of run around them and do all that. At the end of the movie, I always wondered about this. Shaun leads all the zombies off. He runs away, they follow him, and he gets back to the bar. But they come back to the bar as well. But if he could run away and run through them like that, why doesn't he just do that shit again? Is there just too many of them now? It seemed like there was too many of them before. There was the same amount before. So I was kind of worried. I was always wondered about, like, well, how the fuck did he do that? And why don't he just do it again? It's only him and Liz. There's 5 of them. Like, just, Shaun, tell them how you did it. Y'all all go in different directions, run past them, and then meet up somewhere. Why did they do that? It's a movie, I understand. But usually Edgar Wright's really smart and clever about these types of things. So I don't know what happened there. There's some great music cues in here as well. This is the one where they're running around, hitting the zombie with like the wood. There's like what's it, like a pool stick, and it's like shooting star coming and it's the Queen song, and they're running. It's just funny. It's good gag. Good, fits to the music really well. It's just solid, just really solid. It's a perfect kind of Halloween movie that it's not spooky or scary. It's cleverly shot, cleverly written, and it's not even 2 hours. It's just kind of a nice. Let's take a break from the real spooky stuff and let's watch something enjoyable that brings up, that involves zombies or something that's a little Halloween-esque, So that's basically all I got, everybody. I don't really have anything else to say about Shaun of the Dead. I think, yeah. Shaun of the Dead. So this is a shorter one today. 4 movies I talked about are only at 40 minutes. But I can't just sit here and try to ramble on about more stuff because I don't have anything else to say about Shaun of the Dead. Watch it, guys. Rewatch it if you've seen it, rewatch it, and give me some recommendations for movies that I should watch around Halloween. I think this next week I'm gonna watch Dr. Sleep, watch Friday the 13th Part 4. So there's gonna be those 2 I'm gonna watch this week, and maybe another kids type movie. I'm sure I'll watch one of those. Well, Peyton's not here this week, so maybe not. We'll see. Something that Megan wants to watch. We'll watch something that she wants to watch that's probably like a Halloween thing. We'll probably watch Hocus Pocus. I'll talk to her tonight, and I'll convince her if we'll watch Doctor Sleep, then we'll watch Hocus Pocus. So, and then I think I'm gonna watch Jason Part 4 with Drew. Hopefully, I haven't even talked to him yet, but on Sunday we'll do that. And guys, that's it. Follow me on Twitch if you're on YouTube right here. The Twitch link is in the description below. And if you're on Twitch and you're seeing this, follow me on YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube, whatever they call it. Leave a like, comment, something, you guys. And I'll if you have questions or you have comments, I can address them in the next video, and I'll talk about them. Like if you think that I was being too harsh on A Night Before Christmas, fuck you. How about that one? Huh? How about that one? If you think I was being too harsh on The Shining, then yeah, you're right, probably. It's really great. It's really great, actually. So, and I said some shit about it that I, probably was dumb, but whatever. And if you love the Addams Family animated movie, you're probably 5 years old, and you shouldn't be watching this anyways, because I curse and say fuck and shit and dick. And all right, that's the end of the video, everybody. Thank you. Bye-bye, 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 bye.